Hello and welcome back to Lorcana Villain. My name is Baker and today we're looking at some more spoilers from Rise of the Floodborn. Last time we finished off at the release of the 7 dwarves who look very interesting, and now we have over 30 more cards to go through, and by the time I've finished recording all this and then editing it later, there might have been even more to add to the list. So we're going to crack straight on, but I'm going to warn you straight up. I try and make a nice balance between bursting into song and telling stupid stories and staying on topic. Part of it's a deliberate decision. Part of it's ADHD. But yeah, I do try my best to try and keep it a good level of, hey, we're going to burst into song and have a bit of a laugh, but we're also going to keep it professional. Today's video will be slightly less balanced because there's a lot of songs and a lot of characters, and I will sing a lot of this. So if you're one of those that watches my channel more for the professional and informative side of it, and you're not as keen on the distractions and the bursting into song, then maybe for this set of releases, maybe go watch someone else's review, because here we're going to be singing some songs, so let's go. Of course, that's not for every character or card, because they don't all have songs. And we're starting off with one that doesn't, but is a legend in and of themselves. We have the Thechesher Cat from the Shadows. Amazing artwork. You got to think we're going to get an Enchanted for this, right? Amazing. And a really nice progression of the previous Cheshire Cats that we've had revealed to us. The one from first chapter, and we've already had one revealed. The 2 cost in Emerald coming in Rise of the Floodborn. It's a nice little progression of the Cheshire Cat, like, melting into the shadows, essentially. But there's a lot of good things to say about this card. We're an 8-cost inkable, 5/6 stat line, shift 5, so that we can shift onto a previous Cheshire Cat. By turn 5, Evasive is lovely, 2 Lore Pips, and Wicked Smile. Exert, banish chosen damaged character. This card is good. This card is very good. So just as a, like, straight up, again, this is all first impressions. I try not to go into deep dissections with first impressions of too many cards in these original reviews, but just that, just the ability to, with Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, the song also in Emerald, the ability to cheat in an 8-cost on turn 5 is just a little bit saucy. That's also a really great stat line. You're taking out a lot, you're living a lot. It's a really nice potential target for whether it be Rapunzel or other cards that we've had that are going to benefit from characters healing. Odds are that you challenge into quite a lot of things and still survive it. And of course, the Wicked Smile. By the turn this goes down, if you're shifting on turn 5, odds are there's probably already a damaged character, or you can try and make it so. So there's a chance that you put this down, and then it's okay. Now I immediately quest for 2, or I immediately Wicked Smile, or I immediately challenge for big damage, or I immediately Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, a big boy onto the field. So yeah, this card pretty good. Next up, we've got Nothing to Hide. Love this art with Gaston looking through the peephole. I always thought when I watched Beauty and the Beast, when this scene where Belle gets this device to look through. I get that it's because her father's an inventor and it's all safety first, Belle. And yes, safety first. I'm not saying, I'm not judging it. I just thought at the time, like, my God, that's quite a sophisticated bit of hardware just to see who's at the door. But that being said, I can't entirely blame her because look who was at the door. Each opponent reveals their hand and and then you draw a card. 1-cost inkable. So I've seen a lot of talk about this card. So my thoughts for this is that hand knowledge is always good. It's always good. This is a card that really, it's not something you're wanting to play the first 5, even 6 turns of the game. This is for mid to late game. This is for scouting, for quite specific things, I think. I think the first 2 big ones that come to mind are A Whole New World and Be Prepared. Scouting for those before committing or not committing to the board is important. It is also good just for checking what removal they have in general and how much of it because that may influence your decision of, okay, do I want to play my guy who I actually want on the field first, or do I want to play a bait target first? If you see that they've got Dragon's Fire, Hades, World's Greatest Criminal Mind, whatever it might be, then that allows you to kind of play around it a little bit more. But I don't think this card is always going to allow you the opportunity to play around. Even if they do have stuff that is good to know, then you're in a situation where, like, you might be able to play around it. Like I just gave an example of, okay, they've got a removal card. Let's see if I can bait them into hitting this. But again, if my hand has just been revealed and you've seen I've got a bait target and then you put down a character, if I can avoid it, I'm not going to go for that because I'm going to assume that you're trying to bait me. Of course, there's board states and worlds where you would still do it, of course, like depending on what else is in your hand and like the position of the game. But in some situations, you're going to go, huh, they can do that, huh? Well, I can't really do anything about that, and I could just not make my play, so they can't do that, but then I'm just not doing anything, and I'm giving them a chance to draw even more cards that I don't know what they are anymore, and then I'm wasting time and they might pop off. So I don't think this is amazing. It has uses later on in the game. I'm not sure if those niche uses are a bit too niche for this to be warrant the deck slot. My initial thought is that it will see a lot of early play, and then as time goes on, it will probably fade out, unless it just becomes a matter of Sapphire plus Coloured Ink is running a deck that really just wants to like get through your deck as quick as possible. And if like Sapphire has some draw coming, but whatever your other colour is might not have the ability to do a lot of drawing, so you may need to settle for this purely as a way to just mill through a little faster. Definitely an interesting card. A little story that you might not know if you've only seen the film of Beauty and the Beast. But in the stage version of Beauty and the Beast, the musicale, straight after this scene, is in Beauty and the Beast when Gaston does the "Picture this, a rustic hunting lodge, my latest kill roasting over the fire, my little wife massaging my feet, while the little ones play Lorcana on the floor." That scene. In the musical, there's a song that he sings then, and it's called Me. And it starts off, "I've been dreaming just one dream nearly..." No, I've got it wrong already. Not me, you. "You've been dreaming just one dream nearly all your life. Hoping, scheming, just one theme. Will you be our wife? Will you be some He-Man's property? Good news, Belle, that He-Man's me." And it goes on. Not going to do the whole thing, but it's quite funny. If you're a fan of Beauty and the Beast, I highly recommend go on your music provider of choice and find the song "Me" from Beauty and the Beast, the stage musical. Big up. Next up, check out Margot, Cruella de Vil. Cruella de Vil, if she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. And look at Margot's attire. She is ready to party. Perfectly Wretched, 5-cost inkable with a 4/3 stat line. Shift 3 to play onto one of our other Cruella de Vils. So we have the 2-cost also in Sapphire and a 2-cost in Emerald. And the "Oh No You Don't" ability. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character gets -2 strength this turn. Yeah, it's okay. It's probably a bit niche. It's not something that immediately stands out as, oh, I can see this being a priority in Sapphire decks. Maybe as the meta evolves, it becomes a good math fixer for something that is, as an answer to something that becomes dominant in the meta. So yeah, there's a chance it sees play for its niche ability. It's all going to depend on how the meta shapes. But yeah, interesting card. So our lead turns out to be merely Aladdin. Just a con, need I go on? Take it from me. His personality flaws give me adequate clause to send him back in on a one-way trip so his prospects take a terminal dip. His assets frozen, his venue chosen is the ends of the earth. Whoopee! Ex-Prince Ali. Sorry, some of you are already getting really annoyed, and I don't care. I don't care. We have Jafar, the Royal Vizier. 2-cost inkable, 3/2 stat line. I don't trust him, sire. During your turn, this character gains evasive and 1 lore pip. Yeah, love this art. Beautiful. This is getting animated and added to the cycle of our intros, 100%. Jafar is a probably number 2 villain for me. You will know who number 1 is, but it's probably villain number 2. Like, just an absolute legend. And tall, skinny male. I relate. But yes, it's pretty good, to be honest, just as an answer to evasive threats. I'm sorry, first to 20, your evasive dreams are over. They are over. But of course, looking at this Jafar, we also need to look at our Dreadnought Jafar, who's a 4-cost inkable, 3/4, and shift 2. So we can shift onto that onto that 2-cost Jafar from turn 3. And the ability, now where were we? During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may draw a card. Drawing cards is king. And yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty good, actually. It depends, because the thing is, Steel has chip removal anyway, so it doesn't always care that much about evasive because it has other ways of dealing with it. But if the meta shapes in a way where they feel like they need more, or they want to run less chip damage cards and have more things that can serve the purpose and be a body and be extra things, because this is really nice that you can have, okay, I need an evasive answer, I have this Jafar, or I can go, play this one or shift on one onto the other for this one, just to, because again, you can do this out of nowhere if they've already got an exerted character. As long as you've got Jafar on the board, shift into this one, immediately challenge and draw your card. So yeah, I think this is all right. I don't know how much play it's going to see. Definitely need some testing, but love that art, and poor Camel, man. Next up, we've got Kuzco, my man, the wanted llama. Really great to see the llama version of Kuzco in the game. He is a 2-cost inkable with a 1/2 stat line and the ability Where Am I? When this character is banished, you may draw a card. So that's obviously fantastic. It's just going to replace itself in card count. Whether it's banished for it doesn't specify. So challenge, chip damage, getting rid of it yourself, you will draw that card. The 1/2 stat line is a shame. I mean, it makes sense. All these stats make sense considering that effect. I'm not sure if it's a bit too slow for that stat line. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously we play Maleficent, who is 3 cost and only 2/2, and just draws a card as soon as she hits the field. And that sees play, and this is a cost lower, a cost lower, a strength lower, and slower on the card draw. But maybe that's still fine. I don't know. I need to test it, but yeah, great to see Kuzco. Next up, we've got the Huntsman, Reluctant Hunter, really classic Disney character, so great to see him represented. 2-cost inkable with a 1/1 stat line, and the ability Exchange of Hearts. When this character quests, you may draw a card and then discard a card. So it is Simba, but you have to quest. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it's better in a lot of cases, because obviously, like, you get to quest for 2 and you get to draw the card, as opposed to doing it with Simba, who obviously you are just drawing the card and still discarding. I only say just because sometimes you can be stopped from questing from certain abilities, but they're not that common. So I do really like this card. I imagine it's going to see play. That is quite a strong ability. The more I read, at first I was a bit mad, but the more I read it, I think I've just come around to it even more. Because that 2 lore is really good, and getting to do your cycle. So yeah, interesting card, the Huntsman. I imagine he'll see play. Next up, something that will definitely see play. We have Cinderella, Ballroom Sensation. 1 cost, inkable, 1/2 stat line, 1 lore pip, and sing a 3. So she can sing 3 cost songs for free. So, the main advantage we're getting off of this, I believe, is the ability to turn to Friends on the Other Side or 1 Jump Ahead for free. Those are probably our best things. There's a 3-cost World Greatest Criminal Mind, but they need to have a 5 strength character or more, which is unlikely at this point of the game. It does open room to sing Gruesome and Grim turn 2, and that allows you to put a rushed cost 4 onto the field for free, but they get banished at the end of the turn. And I don't know if turn 2, how desperately you need something that's going to come onto the board and have rush. They might not, if you went first, they might not even have something exerted by that point. But again, there's combos with Merlin Rabbit and stuff like that that come into play and out of play effects. So maybe there's something there. Obviously, also the ability to bibbity bobbity boo. So turn 2, you can get a 3 cost down. So just looking at options. I think, yeah, this is a really good card and it will see play. It's definitely its early game or a part of your world, or a Mother Knows Best early. Doesn't sound terrible. So yeah, I think it's its early game utility that's going to be best, because later on in the game, like, these 3-cost songs that she can sing, you can normally sing with other cheap characters as well, but it doesn't mean it's irrelevant. It's still nice, even mid to late game, to be able to put down the Cinderella and know that, okay, next time I can sing my 3-cost song without worrying. I didn't have to spend more ink to get down a character that could also sing it. So it does have uses. But just because of it, how good it is early game, I definitely see it seeing play. And we're still waiting for a shifted Cinderella. It's got to happen. I mean, we do have one. We have the silver one, don't we? Yeah. Will we get an amber one as well? Who knows? Next up, we've got Master Owl from Winnie the Pooh. Sapphire, 1-cost, inkable, 2/2. Nothing much to say here. It's generic 1-cost, 2/2, although obviously the characterizations in the future will matter more. This one's an ally. But yeah, great to see our wise Master Owl from Winnie the Pooh in the game. Next up, one of my favorite cards released from this set. Both because this is, in my opinion, probably the most important villain in Disney history. Yeah, she's like big fan of like the Queen in general, but I think the Hag Queen is just iconic. So really great to see her in the game. Great to see such an amazing artwork, and this card is really interesting. So we are a 3-cost uninkable with a 2/3 stat line. And the ability, the perfect disguise. Choose a character card and discard it. You gain lore equal to the lore of the discarded character. So, just immediate thoughts unpackaging this. You could build a whole archetype around just using this queen to discard high lore cards and just win the. How quickly can you win the game just from discarding? So in green, we'll get to this card properly in a minute, but we have the new shifted Flyn Rider, who is a 4-cost, who has 4 lore. And if you decide to play with Ruby, then you have access to Brave Little Tailor Mickey. If you decide to play with Steel, then you have access to Night for a Day Goofy. And you've got to know that we're going to get, all colours are going to have a 4-cost. I think the most exciting one in my head at the moment is to work with Ruby, and I've already got a concept deck made on Dreamborn. Just because, like, just keep re-readying her with Shield of Virtue, Fan the Flames, LeFou. And again, you're already playing Emerald, so you can play the Flynn Riders, you can play the Brave Little Tailors. The only problem with that version might be there's no recycle for the Hag, so I also want to try a version with Amber. So that you can recycle her. So yeah, a lot to trial with this card. This will be one of my early deck profiles when the new set goes live. But really interesting card here, because again, you think of the foot of, like, if you've got enough 4 lore guys in your deck, literally discarding 5 of them, you win the game. So even if you don't have recycle, if like 3 queens do 1, and your 4th queen did 2, that's game. This is going to be trolly, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. Love this card. Next up, we've got Raya Headstrong. 3-cost inkable with a 2/3 stat line. And note to self, don't die. Always good to remember. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may ready this character. She can't quest for the rest of the turn. So similar to our Scar that we have also in Ruby, who re-readies after banishing things. I don't think her willpower is enough that you're going to get much value out of this. But there is a shifter that we need to talk about, which we have right here. We have our 6-cost inkable Raya Leader of Heart with a 5/3 stat line. You can shift 4. Champion of Kamundra. Whenever this character challenges a damaged character, she takes no damage from the challenge. That's a bit more interesting. Slightly situational. Obviously, they must have damage on them, and if they don't, there's not a lot you're surviving by this point of the game. Again, there's a world where you survive if you do shift into this turn 4, and you can challenge into something that has 2 or less strength. But if they don't already have that damage, it's likely you are just being banished yourself, which may be fine sometimes. 2 lore pips as well. I'm not convinced of it though. Like, it's not that situational, just to like have damage on things. That's quite easy to have arranged by turn 4. But you have to do the challenging. Whenever this character challenges a damaged character. Yeah, so you have to do the challenging. Or is it if they challenge you, would it? Because it doesn't say during your turn. Whenever this character challenges a damaged character. Yeah, I think you have to be doing the challenging. So yeah, even if you don't take any damage from going into their damaged character, you're not re-readying the way the previous Raya did. You're still exerted, and then they probably take it out quite easily. Not convinced about this one at the moment. Next up, we have that Flyn Rider we were just referring to. His own biggest fan. 4-cost, uninkable, Floodborn Hero Prince, 2/3 stat line, shift 2, so we can, we have a 1-cost and a 2-cost Flyn Rider at the moment. Well, we have one from first chapter, but we've seen coming in this Rise of the Floodborn is a 1-cost, a 1/3 stat line one. Evasive, which is good to see. And then one last big score. This character gets -1 lore for each card in your opponent's hand and 4 lore pips. So obviously the idea here is you play this with, you build the Emerald deck all in on its hand disruption, which is quite a lot. And then you get the most value out of this. Or you do what I said earlier and literally just discard it with the Queen, and then it's still 4 lore pips. So yeah, really interesting card. And another one that tells us a lot about the overall story and the narrative of Lorcana, because my man is stealing Lady Tremaine's key. We've seen that that archway, that backdrop. We've seen that key before. Oh, I'm loving this development of this story. Next up, we got Donald Duck Sleepwalker. Nice and cute. 3-cost inkable, 0/5, 1 lore pip, and the Startled Awake ability. Whenever you play an action, this character gets +2 strength this turn. So kind of akin to the Diver Mini, who gains lore based on actions played. And because we got the scene with Minnie and Donald diving in a story, I wonder if that makes this part of the story. I don't know. Nonetheless, as a card, I don't think it's great. There's worlds where that 5 wall power becomes important, because, I mean, like, Mr. Smee saw play in Amber just as a setup target for Rapunzel as a 3-cost. So maybe just that is enough to make this see play, whether it's with Rapunzel or other things that benefit from restoring health or just restoring willpower, or already having quite a bulky willpower. It needs a combo to, I think, bring it to fruition in decks, but yeah, interesting one and one to keep an eye on. So prepare for the coup of the century. Be prepared for the murkiest scam. Meticulous planning to massive disbanding. Decades of denial. Beseech me while I'll be king undisputed, respected, saluted, and seen for the wonder I am. Yes, my teeth and ambitions are bared. Be prepared. Yes, our teeth and ambitions are bad. Be prepared. Sorry, we have teeth and ambitions. Action song, 2-cost inkable. This one was revealed by Ready Set Draw TCG. Again, apologies. Sometimes I forget to mention the revealer. I'll do my best. But yeah, we have Teeth and Ambitions, a 2-cost inkable song. Deal 2 damage to chosen character of yours to deal 2 damage to another chosen character. So a nice chip card, damage card for Ruby, and obviously the idea here is to line up with cards like Dinner Bell, which obviously you get to draw more cards based off the character that you banish with its effect, based on how many damage counters are on it. And you've got to think there's going to be more that are based on the idea of only having a certain amount of damage counters on, or just benefit from that. So yeah, interesting card and one to keep an eye on, and just love this art. Next up, we got Mother Gothel. This one was revealed by James Reimer. Shout out to him. We got Withered and Wicked. 2-cost inkable, 3/4 stat line, and the What Have You Done ability. This character enters play with 3 damage and 1 lore pip. So obviously, big shout out to just the synergy here with Rapunzel, but not only in like it's good synergy in the game, obviously, to have this and then you remove the damage of Rapunzel to draw lots of cards. But just the fact that they work together as Mother Gothel and Rapunzel, love those, love things like that. Also, obviously, this works well with Dinner Bell that we just talked about. This is an immediate. Okay, I put down this for a 2-cost, and now I'm banishing it for to draw 3 cards. So yeah, really good. And you've got to think the combos with this will only develop over time. So yeah, love this card. Next up, a card that's obviously going to make me smile, revealed by Lorcana Cast, the podcast. We have Rattigans Marvelous Trap. 3-cost uninkable. Snap, boom, twang, thunk, splat. We're missing a couple of descriptive words there. I bet they come in the future. Banish this item. Each opponent loses 2 lore. In multi-person games, obviously, slightly better. I'm not convinced it's good enough on its own. Maybe if Emerald becomes a preferred partner of item decks, if you're running with Sapphire, then this probably sees play. I mean, obviously, denying lore is big, but not sure it's worth the uninkable slot. It's not always providing value. Sometimes they might not have lore, or it just might not even matter to the game state. Love the card, love the concept. I'm not convinced it's going to see play. Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. Did they send me daughters when I asked for sons? You're the saddest bunch I ever met, but you can bet before we're through, Mr. I'll make a man out of you. We have strength of a raging fire. Love to see this card in the game, and I bet we get like nearly all the lyrics through song cards, because they've shown that they'll do multiple song cards like for one song. So I want all the lyrics, all of it, to the chorus. But yeah, with 3-cost inkable, deal damage to chosen character equal to the number of characters you have in play. So, if you're an aggro deck, anything that is built towards taking advantage of the new Amber card 0 to Hero is probably going to benefit from this if you're playing with Steel, because those sort of decks really want to play a lot of low damage characters. You think about stuff like the 7 Dwarves that are definitely going to see play. So yeah, like you could potentially be doing like 4, 5, 6 damage with this, with the right board state for a 3-cost inkable. So yeah, not bad, and a good math fixer. Whether or not it's worth playing over Smash because it being more situational, who knows? It depends how important it becomes to hit these higher numbers, and how well whatever deck utilizes this can flood the field. So yeah, interesting one and great art, and just great to see this song in the game. You can fly, you can fly, you can fly. That's the only lyrics I know to that one, so you've been spared. 2-cost inkable, chosen character gains evasive until the start of your next turn. It reminds me of cards like Cut to the Chase, which gave Rush, which I think was only 1 cost though. Yeah, love the art. Don't think it will see competitive play. This is going to be good for sealed events and starter events, and you'll find you'll get good fun out of this. But I don't think it's like just play Fidget. I know it's 1 cost more, but just play. I mean, again, of course, the advantage of this is you can use it on one of your higher strength characters to go into something else with evasive. But if you're playing Ruby, then by that point in the game, you've got other removal. So yeah, I don't think this sees play, but fantastic art. Next up, we got Painting the Roses Red. Alice will always be sentimental to me. If you're used to my channel, you know my tattoo sleeve is Alice in Wonderland. Every bit of it. Look, there's the cat. There's our Cheshire Cat. We should have got him out when we reviewed it, really. Where's the cards? I've got a card on here somewhere. I got the roses. Oh God, I'm not double jointed, mate. There's the roses, and they have indeed been painted red. There was a card on here. I've lost the card. Nonetheless, my tattoo's falling off. Sorry. We got Painting the Roses Red. 2-cost inkable. Up to 2 chosen characters get -1 strength this turn. Draw a card. So just the fact that it's draw a card makes it better. Obviously, it's a 2-cost, so you know it's probably not just your I want to play as many cards as I can to just get through my deck as quick as possible. Probably not worth it, but maybe as a math fixer. And if again, like if by early game we're seeing a lot of meta decks that really are flooding, and this math makes a difference, then maybe it does see play. And of course, anything that's a song, you just have to take into account that maybe it works its way into things just because it's searchable through things like Aerial. Would you play this over Hakuna Matata, for an example, if you were going for a classical version of Steel Amber songs? Not sure. Something to think about. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. I'm gonna say straight as well, if there's any actual musicians watching, some of you may notice I am starting some of these songs in the wrong key, and that's because I'm a bass baritone. Give me a break. But we got Let the Storm Rage On, another Frozen card. So what a surprise. 3-cost uninkable song. Deal 2 damage to chosen character. Draw a card. So again, drawing cards is good. Getting to do it as well as some chip is nice. The fact that it's a song, searchable, cards that benefit from songs, all these things are factors that may end up making this C play. The fact that it's uninkable does not give me great confidence, but again, it won't completely shock me to my bone if it works its way into decks, just because the fact that it's a math fixer and replacing itself in card count, or more likely the fact that you can sing it, is probably what's going to make this the most versatile. And if it does find its way into decks, that's probably why more than anything. But great art and one to keep an eye on. I have often dreamed of a far-off place where a great warm welcome would be waiting for me, where the crowds would cheer when they see my face, and a voice keeps saying, "This is where I'm meant to be. I'll be there someday. I can go the distance." We just go as far until we get to the line of the song that it's named after. One of my favourite songs of all time. Beautiful. Hercules is one of the best for music overall. So it's great to see this song come into the game. Really beautiful art as well, with Pegasus being featured. 2-cost inkable. Ready chosen damaged character of yours. They can't quest for the rest of the turn. Draw a card. So this is LeFou in a song, but it has to be damaged, or Fan the Flames, but a cost higher, but it has to be damaged, and draw the card. I'm not sure if just the fact that you have to be damaged is going to make this, it's just going to squeeze this out. The fact that it's squeeze it out of consideration. The fact that it's a song maybe helps it, but I mean, like, my first thought was like the Queen deck that I was just describing, where you want to re-ready and keep throwing things away. In an ideal world, she's not seeing damage. So I don't know if this is a bit too situational, even though it draws the card. But synergy with things like, we talked about Mother Gothel, who enters play with damage removed. I don't think that and this alone is good enough, but in the future, with more things that might self-damage, maybe this squeezes its way in because you're drawing the card and it's a song. So yeah, not convinced of it early on, but maybe we get cards, and we get enough cards that maybe one day this does work its way into decks. Next up, we've got Peter Pan's Shadow, which has got to be one of the best artworks I've seen. This is my mum's favourite, actually. I always show her the new card. She's interested. She's a big Disney fan as well, and she likes me showing her the new cards. And I showed her this, and she was like, "Oh my god, I want that framed up on the wall." So I've got to do that for her when it comes out. Yeah, so 4-cost uninkable, 2/3 stat line, 2 lore, evasive and rush. Great. And then the tiptoe ability. Your other characters with rush gain evasive. So I don't know how great that part of it. Well, it's good, but I don't know how useful how often that's going to come up, that part of the ability. But having an evasive rusher in itself, that's pretty cool. The low damage output, I think, really hinders it. Because again, something with evasive and rush is really strong on the card. I just don't know if that damage is not enough. But we've seen a few more cards this set, or like we'll be seeing, that manipulate damage. So maybe it just needs to be part of a combo. Again, then you're looking at potential 2-for-1s if you're not living the hits. I don't know. I really want this to see play though, just because I love this art. I just want to see it a lot. And again, evasive and rush just sounds too good to not end up being good. But 2/3 is not great, and being uninkable really hinders it. So I'm not convinced. I would love for it to see play, though. Next up, we got Jiminy Cricket. Absolutely cool, this one. Pinocchio's Conscience. 2-cost inkable. Storyborn Mentor. 1/2 stat line. Evasive. And that still small voice. When you play this character, if you have a character named Pinocchio in play, you may draw a card. So we don't have loads of cards yet that specifically name other characters. We have Aladdin named on a couple. We have Gaston named on a LeFou. We have Anna and Elsa named on their correspondent on the other. maybe one or two more that I'm not remembering off the top of my head. We are getting a couple of Pinocchios. I think we would need to see bigger Pinocchios though, because they're both low cost. One of them's got an exert the opponent ability, and one is basically a amethyst maleficent, 1 level up. So uninkable 2 cost and 3 lore pips, which is strong, and they might end up seeing play along with stuff like Merlin and the bounce stuff in Amethyst. But for this specifically to benefit from that still small voice, I think we need some bigger Pinocchios. And, you know, at one day, we will but within 5 years, we will have a Floodborn for nearly every major Disney character. You've got to know it. So with better Pinocchios, maybe this becomes better. Off the top of the hat, it's just a 2-cost evasive character, and Pascal is right there. Obviously, the weakness of Pascal is they only have evasive while you have another character, but that's quite easy to arrange, and it's a cost less. Yeah, not convinced on this one just for the early evasive. Maybe, and especially if you are playing a version that is playing the Pinocchios, then maybe that warrants this being your replacement for Pascal. So that you can potentially get a card draw as well as the evasive. So maybe it does see play, but love this art and just great to see Jiminy in the game. Okay, this bit is recorded in post because by the time I finished and did my editing, lo and behold, there had been some more reveals. So we're going to add them on. Made sense to put this one here because I was just talking about this. Here is the Pinocchio, which will make the Jiminy Cricket even better. So we are 5-cost uninkable, on the run, 3/3. Once again, one of the best arts I've ever seen in my life. So good. Absolutely love the ink in the waves there. Apologies, you'll hear my pet parrot Ziggy in the background. It's her time of the night to be loud and eat and be her mischievous self. But yes, we have Shift 3, 2 lore pips, and the ability Listen to Your Conscience. When you play this character, you may return chosen character or item with cost 3 or less to their player's hand. So much versatility with this. Obviously, it's in Amethyst, so you can work this with your bounce stuff if you want to. Also, just for resetting your come into play abilities. Or, again, for the opponent, you can, again, just board clearance. Or, how about getting rid of that 2 or 3 cost item that they just put down and making them pay for it again. Yeah, so much utility with this. And the Jiminy Cricket does become a bit better with this. And we've got 2 Pinocchios. And I think it's a little later in the video we talk about the Blue Fairy, although I recorded that before I saw this card. But that's obviously, you get that you draw cards when you play a Floodborn, and Amethyst only really had Elsa, maybe one other for Floodborns. But yeah, Pinocchio, this is a fantastic one. So yeah, absolutely adore this card. Look for the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes. Forget about your worries and your strife. Great to see Baloo, one of the all-time classic Disney characters. 3-cost inkable, 4/3 stat line. Nice and simple. It is one of our lowest cost characters that can hit 4. So maybe that's enough just as a math fix-up. Hard to say a lot more because he's vanilla. Of course, if we get a shifted one anytime soon, then this becomes better. But yeah, just great to see this Baloo, and maybe the math is enough to for him to see play. Next up, we got another Rapunzel Sunshine. A lot of love for Rapunzel in this set. And the previous one of the best cards in the set, if not the best. 2-cost inkable, 1/4 stat line, and the magic hair ability. Exert, remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. So obviously, you see, you see the theme that they're creating with Rapunzel-based cards, based on removing damage. And we're going to see coconut, grandpuppy decks that work with the coconut basket. We're going to see those sort of things, and they're going to benefit from things that remove damage. So yeah, there's definitely a place for this in certain archetypes. And maybe just because it's a early shift target for the other shifted Rapunzel that we've got. And yeah, some great art. So yeah, love to see it. Next up, something that I'm so excited to enter the game. We have Hercules, Divine Hero, 6-cost inkable with a 6/3 stat line, shift 4, and resist 2. Damage dealt to this character is reduced by 2, and 2 lore pips. So, I'm not going into detail on cards that have been leaked as opposed to spoiled. And at moment of recording, they are leaks and not spoils. spoilers. But if you saw my Rattigan review video, you know I did some speculation about some cards that we might be getting. And I can imagine us getting a Steel Hercules for a nice low cost, nice 2 cost, something like that. Sounds good to me. So in a world where that happens, turn 4 Maui, basically. But I can also quest, and I have resist 2. Really like this and love this art. Yeah, strong card. This will absolutely see play. Being able to hit 6 on turn 4 with resist or quest for 2. Yeah, amazing. Love this Hercules. And on the Hercules theme, we have a weight set. Shout out to the Mushu report for revealing this card. I have every belief that you will get your Mushu. I can only imagine that Mushu isn't in this set. Because you got to think, they gave me your Rattigan, like, so on theme. And I'm only a small, I'm just a baby. Mushu Report does so much for the community, so much. A huge shout out to them. And yeah, this was their reveal card. It's actually really good, but yeah, you've got to imagine that Mushu just isn't in the set, or it has already been promised from like early days to someone else. Who knows? But big love to Mushu Report. But yeah, we have weight set, a 3-cost inkable. Training: whenever you play a character with 4 strength or more, you may pay 1 ink to draw a card. This is great. Love this. Yeah, love this. Stack your deck with 4 strengths. I mean, we just looked at the Hercules, so turn 4, you can play this turn 3. Turn 2, if we get a 2-cost Hercules, play that. Turn 3, play this. Turn 4, I mean, then you wouldn't be able to pay the ink to draw a card that turn. I caught myself, but still, great card. And you were like from mid to late game, you will get advantage off of this a lot, and it's such a low cost to pay. It's only 1 ink to draw that card. Yeah, really like this. Get ready to see some. Get ready to see some weights in the game. Next up, we have Alice. Obviously, I've mentioned the sentimentality towards Alice in Wonderland. So really great to see this. A legendary 3-cost inkable. We have Growing Girl. Love the art. 1/4 stat line. And then 2 abilities. Good advice. Your other characters gain support. So that alone is pretty cool. Giving things support. Synergy with we talked about support most recently when we were looking at the World's Greatest Criminal Mind, which allows you to banish a character with 5 or more strength. So if you're playing with Amber, nice extra way to get that going. And then the ability, What Did I Do? While this character has 10 strength or more, she gets +4 lore. I didn't make the call that this would just become a theme of every chapter, but yeah, I guess every chapter we are getting a character who will have this type of ability. You have to have 10 something and they will become a 5 lore character. So we've got Belle, obviously, who needs 10 cards in the Inkwell. Here we have we need 10 strength. So you've got to know that we're going to get a 10 willpower and maybe even 10 characters on board, or a 10 strength character on board. You've got to know it's going to happen. This is going to become a running theme. But yeah, this is so much more reasonable to do, because good advice is giving things support. I mean, if you've got Goofy on the field, job done. But even not, like, there's so many characters that have, like, even if you can get 6, 7, 8 strength out of the support, and then there are a few cards to boost damage even more. We've got the new Sword in the Stone card, which adds damage, adds strength if you're already damaged. A couple of other things like Improvise and other things. Yeah, we have damage modifiers. There's also if you are playing with Amber, there's the Shifted Queen, who lowers their strength and hires yours. So there are ways to get this going. So yeah, this does see play. I think it's going to settle similarly to Belle, though. Sort of A-B tier. A good deck, and when it pops off, but probably a little bit too inconsistent. Like if you think of like lists that did well in big tournaments in Chapter 1, yeah, we see Belle a couple of times, not a lot. So I think it's probably going to be similar to that, and she'll be fun, and she'll see some top 8 lists. I don't know if it's going to be consistent enough, but then again, maybe like it's more a case of we find another deck that is more consistent, but just is able to slip in a couple of this Alice's just as an extra win condition, because we're already playing a lot of those cards that allow us to modify strength. So yeah, really interesting card. Another character I know some people were very keen to come to the game, from Zootopia, I believe. 4-cost Inkable with a 2/4 stat line, 2 lore pips. It's called a Hustle ability. When you play this character, you may return an item card named Porpsicle from your discard to your hand. So let's take a look straight at Porpsicle. So we have Porpsicle, a 1-cost Inkable with 2 abilities. We've got Jumbo Pop. When you play this item, you may draw a card. Love that. So as soon as you put it down, replacing itself. And then that's Redwood. Banish this item, remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. So obviously that's going to benefit Grandpuppy, and we were talking about the archetypes that will want to benefit from removing damage. And then, yeah, obviously you get this off the field, and then you're just going to keep recycling it with Nick Wilde. This also does open up the world to Ariel OTK. Ariel, who saw some play right at the beginning of Chapter 1 format as a bit of a niche deck, but just wasn't consistent enough, unfortunately. But yeah, this is definitely going to make those Ariel believers, the Sapphire one, the Who's It collector, I think she is. Yeah, that will definitely see a re-emergence with testing these cards with them. So yeah, interesting, good to see. Whew, right, we're nearly there, guys. 2 more. This has been a long one because I've been singing for so much of it. So if you've stuck with me, good on you. Yeah, 2 more, unless when I'm editing later there's been more reveals that I feel I absolutely must add. We have the Blue Fairy, rewarding good deeds. 2-cost Inkable, really lovely art, beautiful with like Pinocchio's perspective there, sort of his perspective. Yeah, love this. 1/1 stat line, Storyborn Ally Fairy, evasive, we love to see, and then Ethereal Glow. When you play a Floodborn character, you may draw a card. So obviously it's the big theme of this set is Floodborns, and they are trying to provide many ways of rewarding us for playing Floodborns. So yeah, there are a couple of decks already that have, a couple of inks that have some nice low-cost Floodborns. So yeah, I don't know how good they're going to be, but you're definitely going to see some testing of just the best ways to combine these early Floodborns with abilities like this that get you extra card advantage or just extra value off of them. So yeah, interesting card, and I look forward to seeing it see play and see how Floodborns do. And next up, potentially last, we have King Louie, Jungle VIP. Now I'm the king of the swingers, oh, the Jungle VIP. I reached the top and then I had to stop, and that's what's bothering me. Love this. We got Jungle VIP, 3/8 stat line. It's big. He's a big boy. 7-cost Inkable, lay it on the line. Whenever another character is banished, you may remove up to 2 damage from this character. So what's interesting about this one is it doesn't give any specifications. So it's just any character being banished. So whether that's you banish your opponent, whether you banish yours. I want to confirm if I challenge into one of their... If I've got a second character along with King Louie, and I challenge into one of theirs and they both get banished, can I remove 4? I assume that's how it works? I'm guessing. We'll need to fully confirm that, but definitely you still remove the damage, whether it's their character that's being banished or yours. And again, through like removal cards as well, or self-removal cards. Maybe you want to play this with the most diabolical scheme. But yeah, nice to see King Louie in the game, and yeah, I'm not convinced of how much he's going to see play. But yeah, a classic character, and yeah, good to see him. Alright, back to post-edit recording to cover those last few cards that came out while I was recording all that. We've got Launch, which is a Sapphire 3-cost uninkable. Banish chosen item of yours to deal 5 damage to chosen character. So, immediately if you're playing the item deck, sometimes there's synergy removing your own items just to get them back, especially with the new Nick Wilde. Removing your own Popsicle is a thing, potentially. I know it can remove itself in a certain condition, but this is a way of doing that as well. But yeah, just with any low-cost item, really, this is kind of mad. 5 damage is big. Yes, it's uninkable. Yes, it's kind of situational. It needs a full-blown item deck, I think, to ever see any play. But the item deck is getting some support, so maybe this season it has a much better time, and this card will probably help. So yeah, I'd like to see it. Next up, a pretty exciting one. I'm probably going to murder her name because this is Rare and the Last Dragon, isn't it? Namari, Morning Mist, our first princess villain, so I'm very excited about that. 4 cost uninkable with a 2/4 stat line. It's got the bodyguard keyword and the ability Blades. This character can challenge ready characters, so definitely it's Steel's thing. We got Cinderella and the Wreck-It Ralph card. I can't remember what it's. Pick a fight for challenging ready characters, and yeah, Namari is definitely our cheapest body that can do it. She needs more strength really for this to be massively significant, but again, we've talked throughout this video about we already had a couple and we're getting a lot more cards that can manipulate strength. So yeah, I see this being very good just because it's a low cost character that has that challenge ready characters ability. So yeah, love to see it. And finally, really love this one. We've got Beast, Tragic Hero, 5 cost, inkable, with a 3/5 stat line, 2 lore, shift 3 to go onto one of your other characters named Beast, and the ability It's Better This Way. At the start of your turn, if this character has no damage, draw a card. Otherwise, he gets +4 strength. So it does have to be one or the other. If you do have damage on you, then you just gain the strength. You can't have both. But yeah, this is really good. You've got to think you'll try and manipulate it to get what you want out of it. If you want to stay healthy, then you'll have some cards to heal. But again, just going up to a 7 strength character is pretty mad. Love this beast. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this will see play. It just seems too good. So yeah, big fan of this. And then we have it for our latest set of reviews or first impressions of the latest Rise of the Floodborn spoilers. Again, a really long one. We went sing heavy with this one. I won't always do that. I'm trying to find a good mix between, as I explained at the beginning. But hopefully some of you enjoyed it. If you are brand new to the channel, please do subscribe for future Lorcana content. Hit the like button to show your support, and we'll see you soon.